Laura Loomer joining us. She confronted Hillary for the second time in a week, just asking her questions about Benghazi. You know, her book's called What Happened? What happened to you trying to steal the election? What happened to you faking the polls? What happened to you getting the questions, the debates beforehand? What happened to all those witnesses to Mena, Arkansas, drug dealing, getting killed? Just what happened to all of it? What happened with Anthony Weiner? What happened with the missile secrets and fissile material for nuclear weapons in North Korea? Why are you such a traitor? She goes there, and Hillary is in the toilet paper aisle at Costco. We've got all that exclusive footage coming up when she joins us in the second segment of the next hour. And then it is your phone calls, 877-789-ALEX. That's 877-789-2539. The Sunday number, the last 8-9 years I've done this show, is our own number. We produce it all right out of the house. During the week, I'm still with GCN, and they have their little phone system up there. That's a different number, but ours is 877-789-ALEX. Gets you on the air. So new reports out, jihadists preparing train derailments and food poisoning in Europe. RT, the Associated Press, and others report. And what ISIS says they're going to do after Obama and Hillary and all them gave them all those weapons and gave them oil fields and gave them all that support. I mean, that's a fact they did that. That's not fantasy. So more attacks coming, but don't worry. We'll just bring more Muslims in and visit mosque and have Islam appreciation in all the schools. That'll make the Muslims stop killing us. It never did before. They just take over already half the planet, but it's all right. They just throw gays off buildings and cut women's genitals off, but J.K. Rowling still loves them. But we have Operation Temperer to temper the terror attack. Some troops wandering around, which are really for the British people. Not that the troops themselves are bad, but it's all martial law training. Heart-stopping moment. Armed cops storm suspect of the Pearson's Green bomb. That's the bomb that went off Friday. As neighbors claim, first man arrested is a refugee who came to the UK at age 15 and was praised by the Queen for bringing in Muslims. That's right. He was brought in at 15. He's now 19 and is the main suspect, blowing up 22 people, burning their skin off, bombing little kids, begging for mommy as they were blinded by the explosion. And that's just their fault for cultural enrichment. So there you go. I'm surprised it was an Islamicist. I mean, imagine my shock. Imagine my shock that another communist country has staged elections. Imagine my shock that they don't have power most of the day, don't have running water. Once the second richest country in the Americas. There was a time 100 years ago when year to year it was, depending on GDP and average income, median middle-class income. Trump has the highest middle-class income ever recorded in the U.S. In the last 10 years, the first time it's been up, that came out last week, but he's the bad guy. Free market doesn't work, so everybody wants to get to America, get to Europe. Not that we're perfect, but a small semblance of free market. Venezuela, Argentina, and the United States used to be in competition every year to the 50s on who had the biggest middle class and where was the best boomtown. But they let socialism in. They let communism in. They left collective. They told the middle class, hey, you're rich, higher taxes, more regulations. And guess what? Their countries are gone. Venezuela has officially abandoned the dollar after the U.S. calls Venezuela vote a sham, says will not accept result. They've had martial law. They've had people being arrested that try to even run for office. I mean, it's totally staged. 3-4 years ago, they'd already eaten all their family pets, the zoo animals. They are beyond Argentinian now. The old saying, rich as an Argentine. You don't say that anymore. That's Reuters. De-dollarization strikes. Venezuela stops accepting dollar for oil payments. Oil-rich Venezuela stops accepting dollars. That's, again, out of Bloomberg. And then CNN asked the question, the tragic impact of a country's collapse. Venezuela's dreams are dying. Why did Venezuela collapse? Never did they say communism, socialism. No. It was wonderful. It was all so good. They worshiped the government, and they took the middle class's businesses and reassigned people to run them. And suddenly, everybody was just running around in uniforms telling you how powerful they were, and everybody was a secret agent of the state. Everyone was so sexy, like in our country now, and it collapsed. Venezuela, how a rich country collapsed. How a rich country. Well, it was rich, resourced, culture-wise, and then they got socialism, which they were all wearing red and hammers and sickles. They said 20 years ago, oh, we're not really communist. Of course, they were. And now CNN said, how did they collapse? Venezuela holds the world's largest supply of crude oil. What once seemed like an endless gush of cash. Now the government's running out of money. Prices are soaring, and nobody knows how much worse it'll get. Well, it'll get as bad as communism ever does. Venezuelan election illegitimate, a step towards dictatorship, says the U.S. How dare Trump criticize another heaven like North Korea? Let's just thank God that Venezuela doesn't have nuclear weapons, right? Of course, they couldn't produce those because they're communists. They'd have to be given them. Because communism is always about little politicos meeting and having coups against each other and having putsches and purges and overthrows. It's all about who's in charge, just like Muslim countries, not about who produces the best mousetrap, the best watch, the best computer, the best power lines, the best systems, the best food, the best culture, the best architecture, the best everything that openness gives you. But see, openness is scary because some people do so well, it makes others feel bad. And then the elite parasites, it's never poor people that push for communism. It's always the big offshore mega banks that are tax exempt. They go, hey, big multinational corporations that aren't globalists or big companies that are free market. The public's mad at you. They see what you have and they see you're white and they see you're racist or they see you're Christian and you're whatever. You need to give to them and share power, but we'll run it and let us divide up all the money and then we'll share it with the public and we'll build them up under globalism to enter the hierarchy. And you're like, but free market always does that. That's the, well, just let us do this and we won't kill you. We won't have a race riot. And so the average rich Westerner says, yeah, okay, I'll fund you. Just, okay, I'm in a social signal. Even if you don't, they'll get to your rich wife. I'm not bashing women, but that's just how it works. You're a big company owner. They're going to get to your rich wife at all these tea parties and all these cocktail parties and everything about how your husband's not giving to the children. And you just, you're a powerful woman. You're going to show him, aren't you? You're going to give to charity, right? And that's how civilization fell. On average. Because, man, I talk to these big billionaires. I talk to them all. And they're like, listen, my wife's going to divorce me if I go against this program with the UN. And I go, yeah, but the program sterilizes people and is doing it. I know, but it's just the whole social circle's in it. They know how to use peer pressure. Just like they say, you're a racist if you aren't for open borders, or you're a racist if you aren't for high taxes, or you're a racist if you don't bring unvetted military-age men from the Middle East. It's because they'll beat you over the head. And the average person that started some factory or invented some computer program or whatever, be he a man or woman, they just want to be loved. And so they're like, I'll do whatever you say. I'll get on board with all this. Just leave me alone. And so we're now completely overrun and about to collapse. And the globalists don't even know what to do with what they've done. It's just, it's a disaster. And we're dynamiting the West. It's a horrible situation. We're going to go to break, come back with your calls, come back with Hillary Clinton, exclusive footage. Because Loomer shot some live footage, but she gave us the HD footage that's coming up of Hillary doing a book signing in a toilet paper aisle. The visuals are amazing. And then the Secret Service tried to ban her from being there, but she got through. And people protesting outside. It's powerful. It's all coming up. Then the CIA whistleblower. Will there be a pardon for Assange? Bernie is contradicting himself. It's all coming up. But first, briefly, we've got some big specials that will end in the next few days. They've got to end. 50% off on super high-quality storable food. Amazon doubled prices during the hurricane. I cut it 50%. That's got to end on high-quality storable food. Always great to have that. 50% off all the fluoride-free colloidal silver iodine.
DNA Force is finally back in stock at InfoWarsStore.com. DNA Force protects your body from the toxic environment that surrounds us all. The powerful ingredients include bio-PQQ and coenzyme Q10. Protect yourself against dangerous free radicals. Optimize cellular energy. It's DNA Force. It's available for a limited time only. Get yours today, right now, at InfoWarsStore.com.